Hello, Catherine here to talk about the next class in Superhero Skill Builder. So this week was my second week and I'm the occupational therapist. And during the second week, we continued with some body awareness skills. And our superhero skill, we decided, was kind of like mind reading. And the way we read people's minds to know what emotion they might be feeling is through their body. We started with clues in our own bodies so that we could figure out how we might be feeling. So we used magnifying glasses and we continued on with our body scans. So we started at our toes and we checked in with all of our body parts all the way up to our brains. So we decided if our feet were still or moving, pacing, wanting to run. We moved up to our muscles. We even talked about our stomachs and our bladders. Were they full? Did we have butterflies in our stomach? We kept going up to our heart, lungs, voice, mouth, eyes, ears, brain. We hit them all. So if you recall, the first week that they worked with me, we did this kind of a specific body scan to decide which of our body parts we feel the most. And we checked in this week with all of these to decide what they might be feeling. We finished these charts. So hopefully you have a completed one of these at your house, and you can start to use these cues to identify what your child might be feeling. We tried in general to pick one or two body parts for each of these. Some people added in more emotions. I think I saw some people did sad, some people did sick. And so we picked out the cues in our body and tied them to a specific emotion. So take a look at what your kiddo did, and I want you to kind of do a bit of an audit. Sometimes it felt like they were doing a really great job, and other times I wasn't sure if that was a cue for them. So I want you to go through this and decide if that kind of makes sense. So if your kiddo for mad put loud voice and you're going, actually, when you get mad, you're quiet, then we want to change this. We want to edit it. If there's other things you notice about their body in these emotions, add them in as well, because we want this to be kind of complete. So this is my body, my emotion. So this was specific to what your kiddo identified for their body using these body parts. Some other things might have shown up when they started to think about what mad looked and felt like, and that's okay too, as long as it's kind of accurate. So again, try to do that audit, and then you're gonna keep doing these check-ins to decide what emotion they might be feeling. The other thing we spent quite a bit of time on was the concept of comfortable and uncomfortable. So things that make us comfortable, generally things we like to do. Things that make us uncomfortable, things we don't like participating in. We talked about how everyone has different ideas of what makes them comfortable and what makes them uncomfortable. And so, for example, walking barefoot on grass, did that make you feel comfortable? Do you like that, or do you not like that? So we did a lot of those kind of scenarios. It was really fun. We figured out which of our friends liked each input. And then after that, I started talking a little bit about self-advocacy, which is a big word, but it means advocating for yourself. And in this case, we practiced what it might sound like or what it might be like to tell someone that what's happening is uncomfortable for them. So for example, if you are in a crowded room and those noises that are happening are making you feel uncomfortable, I'd love for you to be able to say, it's too loud, I gotta go. The thing about self-advocacy is that ideally it's a verbal cue, but you can also work on little subtle nonverbal cues to like a safe adult. That's okay too. So if there is a classmate that's sitting beside you and they're kind of loud, you can ask them, stop making noise, or you're too loud. And we don't necessarily have to have the perfect manners in that moment, because we're starting to get a bit dysregulated or upset ourselves. If you're not able to do this, hopefully an adult can help you advocate. So we talked about if someone is eating like stinky fish beside you and it's really bothering you, it's okay to ask them if they can sneak down, or if say your smell of your food is a lot, I'm gonna go sit over here. So that self-advocacy piece is really important. We tried to pick really kind of silly examples, but think about other things that you want your kids to advocate for. Noise, people being too close, people asking them to do things that don't make them comfortable. So if your kiddo doesn't like having their hands messy, if they're being asked to do finger painting at school, it's okay to say, I can't do that. I need a new option. So we really tried to hit that hard. And then on the flip side, if someone asks us to stop something, we have to try to respect their wishes as much as we're able. After that, we talked about how we can tell what other people are feeling based on their body, which is really confusing because not everyone gets a loud voice when they're mad. Some people might look like they're mad when they're actually sad. Some people look really silly when they're actually feeling anxious. And so this is where it gets really complicated. So we started to talk about level of alertness. And so your emotion might be a high level of alertness, a medium, or a low. Those are the three we picked. Low, that's going to be slow emotions like tired, bored, sick. They're probably low. Medium's kind of like I'm focused, I'm happy, I'm ready to learn. And the high level of alertness, that's going to be silly, excited, anxious, frustrated, mad. All of those have a high level of alertness, and we can think of that as kind of like a high energy level. So the first thing we did is we tried to pick out what level of alertness someone had, and then we picked what emotion we thought they had, and we used these body cues again. So how did you know that person was feeling excited? Was it because their voice was loud and their hands were really tight? Did you know they were acting like they were mad because their eyebrows were scrunched and their feet were stomping? So we practiced picking out these cues in other people. We did a lot of charades, a lot of great actors in the group. And we briefly also talked about expected versus unexpected behaviors. So rather than like saying that was a good thing you did or that was a bad thing we did, we don't like to use that kind of language. So was your action expected or unexpected? So while in the middle of the classroom, if you started shouting and jumping up and down and screaming, is that expected or was that unexpected? And they were pretty good about being able to say what was unexpected. We can build off this skill to talk about other people's perspectives and how my actions change how other people feel. So we touched a little bit on that, but the main focus of this week was that superhero skill of being able to tell what emotion people are feeling. Practice pointing out in your child and also in other people what their body looks like, and then tie that to an emotion. So you might say something like this: I'm noticing that your hands are in fists and your voice is getting really fast. I'm wondering if you are feeling frustrated. And this validation piece is the first step to co-regulation, which is helping adjust someone's level of alertness for the environment that they are in. Practice that piece. And then the last class that I have, we are going to explore some tools to help us, now that we've figured out we're dysregulated, well, now what are we going to do about it? So that's the last class we have, and I am looking forward to that one.